Okay, so the first thing we want to do is grab our armature, but we want to be in object mode. So let's get out of edit mode, go to object mode, and we want to select our mesh, and then we want to shift select our armature. It can actually be pretty difficult to select them both sometimes, so you can go into wireframe mode. You may have better luck doing that, or you can go ahead and grab your mesh object and then shift select or command select to select the armature second. So now what we can do is essentially parent the mesh to the armature in what's called a bind. So we're going to do Control P, and that brings up our set parent dialog box, and we can go down to armature to form and grab the automatic weights preset. Okay, and then we just left click to confirm that. And now what we have under the modifiers, if we select our P cube here, you can see that it's actually now parented under armature. If we go to modifiers, you can see there's an armature modifier associated with it. So if we select our armature and go back to, instead of edit mode, we can go down to pose mode. This will enable us to actually start posing our skeleton. So I can press R to rotate, and you'll see that it's automatically given us a relationship between the vertices and certain bones. So this bone, for instance, will control the vertices that are in its immediate area and rotate those accordingly. And it's also rotating the bones that are children of them to move the vertices down the line. Okay, so you can't move these like you could in edit mode, so pose mode is very different. I'm just going to press Command Z to undo that. Okay. If you happen to move this and you want to zero this back out, under the transform options here with that bone selected, you can go ahead and press 0 under rotation to undo that rotation, and we want to take the W value here and put that back to 1. And so what that does is just it resets it, and that's kind of how you can zero everything back out. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the solid shaded view. I want to go ahead and rotate this just to test it out. So let's make sure everything is properly bound. So rotate in the X axis, and we're going to just rotate this down X axis and see what our leg is doing. Okay, it's not too bad. We just want to make sure there's no vertices elsewhere in other parts of the mesh that are being impacted. This does a pretty good job out of the box to give a nice deformation, but every once in a while you'll see something that is out of place or wrong. Okay, so if you want to see the relationship here, what we can do is go back to object mode. If you do Control Tab, that's going to change from object mode to pose mode, and Tab is going to go to edit mode and object mode for that armature. Okay, so Tab and Control Tab are going to be the quick keys to jump between these two modes. Okay, so now what I want to do is actually reset this without having to go to each bone and clear out these rotations. So if we do Option R, actually I think if I press A and then do Option R, it will reset everything. And if you've moved anything, for instance, if you've grabbed one of these disconnected bones and pressed G and actually moved it, this will enable you to do some kind of smeary type of animations. I'm going to hit escape there to undo that. But if you did move that, you could do Option G or Alt G, and that will clear out any location changes to that bone as well.